Hey everyone, this is Griffin McElroy for Polygon with a quick guide on how loot and treasure keys work in the Prison of Elders, the new arena mode that launched in Destiny with the arrival of House of Wolves yesterday. The system is a little bit convoluted, so we'll start with the treasure room, which is the area you get to after completing any Prison of Elders event, regardless of difficulty. The two chests on the side can contain engrams and planetary resources and all kinds of different forms of loot, but the best loot you can get from the Prison of Elders is found in this big chest here in the middle. This big chest has a pretty high chance to drop exotics that have been ascended to the new max damage level and light level, some new legendary weapons, and all kinds of really great loot. The only problem is you can only open them if you have a treasure key, and treasure keys are not guaranteed to drop in the Prison of Elders. So you may be wondering, is it even worth running the Prison of Elders on its different difficulty settings if you don't have a treasure key to open up that big chest at the end? The answer is yes. There are still guaranteed drops for each of the different difficulty settings. At level 28, which is the only version of the Prison of Elders that you can matchmake into, you can get some Vanguard marks, Vanguard reputation, and some engrams. The better rewards come at the higher difficulty settings, though. At level 32, you can get yourself some House of Judgment reputation and an armor core, which you can then trade into Varix, who is a new vendor in the Reef, for a new light 42 piece of legendary armor. For completing the Prison of Elders at level 34, you get a weapon core, which you can trade into Varix for a new legendary weapon. You can get some House of Judgment reputation, which you'll need to unlock higher tiers of gear for sale at Varix. And you'll get some Etheric Light, which is the new material you'll need to upgrade any legendary piece of armor or weapon in the game. At level 35, you get a bunch of House of Judgment reputation. You get an armor core and a weapon core, which if you've already purchased the gear from Varix, you can trade in for a Judgment's Chance, which costs one armor core and one weapon core and gives you a chance to acquire some Prison of Elders gear. It also gives you another piece of Etheric Light, which you can use to help get yourself up to level 34, or upgrade one of your old legendary weapons to the new 365 damage cap. Those rewards that you get for level 32, 34, and 35, the different cores and Etheric Light, those are guaranteed drops, but you can only get them once per week per difficulty setting. And just like the other raids and special events in Destiny, those reset with the weekly reset on Tuesday. Also, even if you don't have a treasure key, you can open up the two side chests, which, as I said before, have some random odds and ends in them. They also have a very small chance to give you a treasure key. So you can turn around and open up that big chest if you get lucky by getting a treasure key from one of the two smaller chests. There's also a small chance that you will get a treasure key for finishing off the final boss of whatever Prison of Elders event that you run, which will allow you to open up the big chest at the end of that event. There are a few other places where you can try and find treasure keys. The most popular treasure key farming method is to go after the different enemies that you have to take down for the Queen's Wrath bounties. After defeating those enemies on patrol routes across the galaxy, an ether chest will appear for 90 seconds. And if you can find it and get to it, there's a very small chance that it will drop a treasure key for you. Some enterprising players have figured out that after defeating the bounty, if you can get to that chest really quickly and then leave that area and come back while you still have the ether key buff, you can have multiple cracks at the chest. And if you can get a few stabs at each chest, and take down a bunch of those different bounties in an hour, then you're going to increase your chances of finding a treasure key and setting yourself up to get a bunch of loot when you finish Prison of Elders. Another way that people are finding the treasure keys is with the Queen's Blessing, which is a package that you get after completing all 6 of the Queen's Wrath bounties in a given week. Again, these have a fairly small chance to include a treasure key. I was not lucky enough to get one out of the first Queen's Blessing package that I opened up on my main character, but your luck may vary. The only guaranteed treasure key that I have found so far is by completing the story missions in the House of Wolves. So if you have 3 characters, you can, at the very least, guarantee yourself 3 treasure keys. Something to keep in mind is that the big chest at the end of the Prison of Elders appears to have the same loot table regardless of what difficulty setting you are playing on. So there's no need to stockpile your treasure keys if you have them. If you can complete the Prison of Elders on any difficulty, you should feel free to go ahead and pop open the chest with one of those keys. One caveat, I have heard from some players that the level 35 event will give you some exclusive rewards in the form of a shader, an emblem, and a new ship, and the only way that you'll be able to get those the first time you complete the Prison of Elders on level 35 is by popping open the big chest with a treasure key. So if you are trying to take down that level 35 event for the first time, you may want to make sure you have at least one treasure key before you go into it. That's all we know about treasure keys and loot in the Prison of Elders so far. We may know more after the next weekly reset. There may be more ways to get treasure keys, or even a guaranteed way to get a treasure key. But until then, you are going to have to rely on some help from your old buddy RNGesus.